Our next session explores circular entrepreneurship, from building commerce to closing the loop. This session is moderated by former TiEcon Kerala President Mr. Rajesh Nair, partner Ernst Young, and a senior member of the Kerala India Pursuits Group. He is a national business development leader for climate change, sustainability services, and ESG, bringing more than 3 decades of experience in organizational transformation, business strategy, and sustainable growth. Mr. Rajesh will lead the conversation forward and present our speaker, Mr. Abhay Deshpande.
I'll introduce Abhay. We have a video and then we'll call Abhay on stage. So, see, one of the questions we ask ourselves after the age of 50 is, are you being a good ancestor? Let me repeat the question. One of those questions that we ponder over after a particular age is, are we becoming a good ancestor? And sustainability is about being a great ancestor, being something, being a person who leaves much more than what he received from the world. So here is a fantastic entrepreneurial venture, which we will get into subsequently. I will introduce Abhay, and Abhay is, if you remember the framework from yesterday in terms of the 6 types of entrepreneurs, Abhay is the classical serial entrepreneur, the 5th stage of entrepreneurs. So Abhay is a distinguished entrepreneur and a TED speaker whose innovative mindset, leadership capabilities, and expertise in digital marketplaces have charted a successful career over the last 2 decades. He is the founder of Recykal. It's a clean tech company he established in 2016 with a strong focus on circular economy. I understand the time of the day is such that the only thing circular you understand is the butterflies going around in your stomach, but we will decipher this entire word circularity very soon. He reshaped the conversation around waste management and recycling with his vision to mainstream sustainability, ESG, and circularity. His goal to channel 5% of India's waste back into the circular economy exemplifies his pursuit of progressive environmental solutions. As I also mentioned, Abhay is a serial entrepreneur. This is his 3rd venture. Abhay was the driving force behind MartJack, India's first SaaS company specializing in entrepreneurs' e-commerce platform. MartJack was acquired by Capillary Technologies, and those of you who've read the recent business news, you would have read about the Capillary Technologies IPO as well. And at that time, it marked one of the largest SaaS deals in India and an accomplishment that underscores Abhay's business acumen. Abhay started his journey in entrepreneurship with Mala Mall, malamall.com, recognized as India's pioneering e-commerce ventures. This initiative was an early indicator of his foresight and adaptability. Can we have the video and then we will call Abhay?
तेरी कठिनाइयाँ तेरी मुश्किलें उसको यूं ही जगाए रखे मासूम समझ के पक्के इरादे राह दिखाएगी नन्हे हाथों की साझेदारी एक छोटी सी उजियारी एक छोटी सी उजियारी एक छोटी सी उजियारी दुम ताना दुम ता दे रे ना दुम ताना दुम ता दे रे ना दुम ताना दे रे ना दुम ताना दे रे ना दुम ताना दे रे ना एक छोटी सी उजियारी, एक छोटी सी उजियारी, एक छोटी सी छोटी सी उजियारी, एक छोटी सी उजियारी, एक छोटी सी उजियारी, एक छोटी सी उजियारी।
मन्नू बेटा, ये क्या कर रही थी बेटा?
पापा, आपको कमर में दर्द होता है ना? टीचर ने बताया था जो लोग सफाई करते हैं ना उनको घुटनों में भी दर्द होता है और कमर भी दुखता है सफाई करते करते। पापा, लोग सड़क पे कचरा क्यों फेंक देते हैं?
पता नहीं बेटा।
दर्द हो रहा है। पापा, आप चिंता मत करो, आप इसी रोड पे सफाई करते हो ना? मुझे पता था, इसीलिए मैं पहले आके सफाई कर देती थी।
उगेगा सूरज, खिलेगा सवेरा, बोलेगा हर मन, मेरा देश मेरी जिम्मेदारी, मेरा देश मेरी जिम्मेदारी, मेरा देश मेरी जिम्मेदारी, मेरा देश मेरी जिम्मेदारी।
Ladies and gentlemen, Abhay Deshpande. So Abhay, I think a lot of us understand recycling as a word, and somebody was telling me that amongst the most discussed management concepts of the last maybe 5 years is recycling. But a lot of them may not know what circularity is, what is circular entrepreneurship. And so if you can explain to the audience what is circularity and how does that connect to recycling?
So the title which you chose, the circular entrepreneur, I will try to divide into two parts. One is about the entrepreneurship, the other one is about the industry. So when you look at the entrepreneurship, I think entrepreneurship is always circular. I personally believe this is my third venture. I did 2 ventures before. You start a venture, you scale, either you fail or succeed. Again, go back to the same original point, start a new venture. So circular entrepreneurship is all about circularity. And that's the reason I think that relates more with the entrepreneurs. From the circular economy perspective, I think it's all about, if you look at the world today, most of us are linear. The economy is linear. Today, products gets manufactured, then all of us consume them, then dispose them, that gets into either a landfill or ocean or somewhere. So nobody's thinking about making this whole process circular. As we all know, the planet has limited resources, and of late, we all started realizing it. The resources are limited. There are not unlimited resources. If we keep getting the resources from the planet, start consuming, there will be a time where in another 40, 50, or 100 years, there will not be resources available. So time has come where we all need to start thinking circular. Like, just take an example of this plastic bottle. When it got manufactured, water got filled, we bought it, now we will litter it mostly, or it will go somewhere. Now, if this bottle, the content is used again for the gets recycled and again used in the making a new bottle or a shirt which we use, that is about circularity, bringing the material back into the economy rather than getting it disposed, burned, or getting into the ocean or thing. So we are trying to make that circular economy a reality.
Interesting. So while the next question is about recycle, if you can connect recycle to what you explained about circularity right now, and how is recycle changing the entire scenario through your business model?
So I think whenever I have been asked to make an elevator pitch, my pitch about recycle is that we are in the mission of changing the behavior of 1.4 billion people in this country. So how do we do that? And that will end up into a circular economy. So when you look at all of us, Indian government has come up with the Swachh Bharat mission. For last 10, 15 years, there is a lot of focus on cleanliness, circularity, but the impact is at a single digit. We are not seeing the great impact. There is an impact, but at a single digit number. Now, the challenge basically is the behavior of the generators and consumers like us. That need to be changed. Government has invested a lot of money on building infrastructure, MRF centers, sorting centers, recycling investment is happening. But if the source is the challenge, where our behavior towards waste is very, very different. We still mix dry waste and wet waste. We still don't have proper littering. We still litter. And that's creating the major issue. So what we identified as a company when we started Recykal was, we need to change this behavior. And changing this behavior is not easy, and using technology. We as a company do not recycle anything. The challenge in the recycling industry is getting the feedstock, this material to be taken to the recycler. That supply chain is quite complex. It is quite informal. It is quite cash driven. So last 10 years, we're just completing 10 years of our starting. 26th November is our 10th anniversary. We're spent to really build that supply chain, understood the context, understood the behavior of each stakeholder, including the government, including the bureaucrats, including the informal sector and the consumer as such, and bringing technology into that. So to quite extent, we have got some success. Last year, we channelized 0.5% of India's waste into circular economy. We almost did 1,000 crore top line, but I feel that numbers are very, very small, right? If you look at recycling as an industry, it's pretty large. It is quite large. And what we talk today is just about plastic. It's not just about plastic. It's about plastic. It's about e-waste. It's about metal. It's about tires, batteries, even the textile, right? So much of waste gets generated, and as the consumption is increasing, more waste is getting generated. So I think as a Recykal, we have built some digital platforms, marketplaces, through which we try to change the behavior of the people by bringing the transparency, proper pricing, and better incentive for the people to really make it happen. See, one of the initiatives of Recykal, which is, we feel that is going to change the solve the India's littering problem, and which we have been working for last 6.5 years, is something called a deposit return system. Or many here in this room might be remembering during our childhood, whenever we used to buy a Coke bottle or Thumbs Up bottle, the shopkeeper, and those are glass bottles. Yeah. The shopkeeper used to keep 5 rupee deposit with him, and when we return the bottle, he used to give it back. We are doing that at a scale. So just to give you context, this is a government-driven initiative. The Goa state has become a first state to come up with a law where they are going to put a deposit on every product you buy in Goa. So from April 1st onwards, you buy any cold drinks or any beer there will be a deposit of 2 rupees, 5 rupees, and 10 rupees. Depends on the product. Even a gutka pouch will have a 2 rupee deposit. So today my behavior is, people buy gutka, cut it, eat it, and just throw it on the road. Right. But from April onwards, because there is a 2 rupee deposit on that, it's a currency. What we have done is, from April onwards in the state of Goa, the complete every trash is going to become a currency, and that will bring that behavioral change in the consumer. Same thing now got, in a brief way, got implemented in Kerala also. If you guys track the news, 3 months back, Bewco announced the news that they are going to put a 20 rupee deposit on liquor bottles. And they started a pilot in 10 stores in Trivandrum, and that has been running. The psychology is same. If I buy a liquor bottle, after consuming one thing I throw, that goes into littering. Now what has happened, the people are bringing back the bottle, their behavior has changed, and that is bringing the quality material in the circular economy. So this initiative, we are working out at least in 7 states right now, and that will really change the behavior of the people. Like in Goa, what is going to happen from April 1st, every household will have a cardboard box. Now, if you look at our behavior at home, we never throw a newspaper in dustbin, right? We read a newspaper, keep it in the corner of the house, which is generally sold in a month for 9 rupees per kg or 10 rupees per kg. So we have trained for that. But for plastic, we are not trained like that. But as soon as this deposit comes, there will be a cardboard box at every home. People will consume the content and put that in the cardboard box. And then return that container in a machine or collection point subsequently, because there are incentives. It is a cash. So as I always say that we as Indians, we change our behavior only for 2 things, either a fear or a greed. I think this has a component of greed into it. So this will change the behavior. Otherwise, only Modi ji can change the behavior at 8 p.m. in the night, saying that from tomorrow onwards, if you litter, you will be jailed for 10 years. That might change the behavior a bit, but that is beyond us. We as a company, we thought bringing this incentive might make sense, and this working pretty well.
Very interesting. So now every time you see any piece of waste lying around you, see it as money. And there is an ecosystem which is building in India where you can take that component, and there is a value which is there. So what is Recykle's game in this? How do you empower companies to do this?
So Recykal is a technology partner. So Government of Goa has appointed us as a scheme operator. So we are going to put the whole digital platform on board all the brands who are selling in Goa and create that collection infrastructure around Goa. So we're creating 1,000 collection points. So we have reverse vending machines where you can go put a container and get your money back by UPI. It's a completely cashless process. Has been built. We did this in Kedarnath 3 years back, and still continues. We did a pilot in Kedarnath, Badrinath, all these dhams, and it was greatly successful. Almost 5 million bottles we collected. Earlier, people used to go to Kedarnath and litter the bottles, but after 10 rupee deposit, that behavior had changed. So we collected 5 million bottles, which otherwise would have got into the river or the littering issues. So our role is, we are an end-to-end operator. We are going to work with those local rat pickers, onboard them into the ecosystem, make them collection points. It's a socially inclusive scheme.
Right.
And making sure that the Goa becomes clean, there's no littering. And even somebody litters, somebody will pick that, because that's a currency. Right? If I throw a 10 rupee note, somebody will go and pick it. Similarly, if I throw a bottle, it's a 5 rupee note now. It's a currency. So the behavior is going to change. Somebody will pick up. So we'll find Goa quite cleaner, quite better, and that behavioral change will be seen soon.
Absolutely. Very interesting. So I understood it till the point where you go to a collection point, you drop it, you get the respective credit in UPI, etc. What happens to the waste then? So you have a supply chain where you take the waste and take it to.
So absolutely. So there are recyclers. There are many recyclers in the country. In Goa, there are not many, but in Maharashtra, Karnataka, there are many recyclers. These recyclers are struggling because they don't get the feedstock. They don't get the material. The biggest challenge is getting the consistent and quality material for recycling. Now, all this material collected will get processed by us and will be sold to the recyclers nearby. And now Goa government is planning to bring a circular economy park post this, so that all this material which is collected also is processed inside the state itself, and it creates more employment, more jobs. That's the next step. But right now, all this material goes to the recyclers. They again recycle it and make new bottle. That material is used for making a new bottle again. So it completes the cycle. It makes it circular.
Fantastic. And as of now, where did this idea come from? Where did this idea come from, let's say, countries which are doing this? Or did it come from something that you saw
No, so about the DRS is not new. It has been already implemented in 50 states and countries across the world. Europe and all other markets are already done. But Goa is the first state in Southeast Asia to do it. And most importantly, Goa is the first state to also include multi-layer plastic, that lace packet, gutka pouch, which generally nobody collects. 50% of the waste is that goes to the landfill. But Goa is the first state to do it. So we saw that working globally, but then we Indianized it fully. We bought a QR code aspect into it because we are so used to QR codes. We would make it a digital deposit return system because in India, maintaining those RVMs is not easy, right? India has a lot of manpower available, so the manual collection will be more important. So what we did is we make it a digital deposit return system where every mobile is a RVM. So every shopkeeper can be a collection point. He has to just scan a QR code and the money will be refunded to the customer. So because if you put those RVMs, which are very costly, there is a chance that the people overnight will take the RVMs, recycle them rather than recycling the material. So that's a risk which we carry. And that's the reason we changed the model completely for India. And I'm sure for this Southeast Asian market, this model fits better.
Is there any plans of talking to Kerala? Is there any conversation? Or
We are already in conversation in Kerala. And if all goes well, might be the first category of liquor, which already the BevCo has started.
Right.
We might be the technology partner there.
Oh, wonderful. So I think even if I look at your previous two ventures, Mala Mall and Marjack as well, you've been doing things probably the first in India and, fairly a pioneer. And, Bala, who received the Lifetime Achievement yesterday, Bala keeps saying that there is a very thin sliver between being a pioneer and being ahead of your time. So what motivated you to pick up these ideas which are fairly ahead of their time?
So I started my first venture, that is in 1999, a company called malamal.com. Malamal, mostly in Hindi called Rich, Super Rich. So I started that venture, which was an e-commerce marketplace. Pretty early, I think I was 10 years ahead of the time. But there are many product company guys here. One of the best product built by any company is Microsoft, is the Microsoft Excel. So that Excel sheet is a beautiful tool, and being an entrepreneur, you prepare a business plan.
Yeah.
You can just play around with the numbers, and at the end of the evening, you are a billion-dollar company because just change few numbers and you become a billion-dollar company. So I prepared my business plan. I thought by 2001, 99, I was starting it. 2001 itself, I was supposed to be a billion-dollar revenue company on Excel sheet. But the reality was different. Market was not ready for it. India was not ready for it. India had 1 million internet connections, the dial-up connections those days. But being an entrepreneur, you feel that you are ahead of the time. And you don't realize that you are ahead of the time that time. You realize it later. And business plan created. There was a Web 1.0 going on. Lot of demand for these companies. Suddenly, virtual demand. We got funded. I raised capital. But in 1 year, that bubble busted. And it's just 1.5 years of glorified days, and then the bubble busted. I had a lab, and then I was still optimistic. I thought I will raise capital, I will continue, but in 1 year I could not raise capital. I had $1 million liability on me, 6 crores. Those days 60 rupees was the price.
Right.
And I come from a middle class family. My father was a judicial judge. He was a judge. So no one in family has done business before. So 6 crores was a big amount. So the one option I had is to close the shop, declare bankruptcy. Other option was to continue. I chose the other one. I didn't want to. The 6 years actually from 2000 to 2006 taught me a lot about entrepreneurship. Taught me what exactly is entrepreneurship. It all looks very glorified from the outside. But when you do it, it's a different world altogether. And for a first generation entrepreneur, the life is different. We died almost 100 times as a business during that period. There were 50 employees, we were to pay 100 vendors. But we stayed, we continued, we cleared everything. Could not become Malamal from monetary perspective in those 7 years, but became Malamal from as an entrepreneur. Learned a lot. What you should not do as a business was the biggest learning I got during those 7 years. And then 2016, by the time I cleared all the liabilities, and that was a time where I saw personal issue, personal family, this impact, everywhere it was an impact. My wife is here and she has been a support, great support for me. Without her support, I would not have survived during that period. But that's very important during that time. And 2006, then I thought I need to do something different. And that's where I started a first SaaS company of India, software as a service company. That was in 2007. Again, Excel sheet, beautiful tool, but I was better learned entrepreneur by then. So 2007, I started which I did in the first venture on hiring, like I hired all my friends and relatives. I knew that if I want to build a valuable company, I need to have a right talent. So I got a better team, better funding this time. Although didn't get any venture funding as such, I raised around 42 crore rupees from 86 investors. And like I called it my Abhay's Angel Network. That was from 11 countries, 22 cities. And I ran that company for 100 months, a SaaS product company. And I got the money in 135 tranches. You can just imagine, we were working, people who work on daily wages. I was working on monthly funding. Tough time, but the energy was there, always there was a passion, team was amazing. So then Capillary acquired us in 2015. That was one of the largest acquisition of SaaS companies during that time. And yesterday, Capillary got listed in Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange. And that's an amazing cycle got completed. And after selling that company, it was like 1.5 years I was there as a CEO, trying to help and do the transition. Then came out as an entrepreneur, you are always an entrepreneur. Working somewhere that doesn't suit you, wanted to do something crazy. So came out and the first thing I thought was I will take a 6 months break because 16 years has been tough, 17 years has been tough. But when I sat at home for 6 days, I realized that sitting at home for an entrepreneur is not possible. Most importantly, my wife and daughter's privacy was getting disturbed because I started asking for tea, pakoda at 4 o'clock. So I was thrown out of the house. Went back to the ecosystem, became an accidental investor, invested in 12 startups, almost 12 startups. Couple of them did well, couple of them failed. And thought of starting a fund also, $100 million fund, got commitments also. But then during that time, I realized that I'm still a horse where people can bet. Then I'm betting on the horses and taking the MIS every month. I still not reached that scale. I still have 2 entrepreneurial stints in me. And then started looking at the opportunity and then felt waste management looks like a problem. No idea, just the instinct, zero experience. Whatever you guys knew, I knew that much only about the waste. And 2016, 15 end, Recykal was formed.
Wonderful. Fascinating story. So in our audience, we have seasoned entrepreneurs, we have startup entrepreneurs, we have early stage guys. And we also have some folks who are very keen on entrepreneurship as a subject. So what are some, if you can cull out a few learnings from your entrepreneurial journey, what are a few things that some of them can keep in the back of their mind?
So my learnings of 25, I just completed 25 years of entrepreneurship last year. And I generally call, I have 5 babies, 2 daughters and 3 startups because every startup is like a baby. Yeah. You have to nurture them in a same passion, same way. You can't just have whatever experience you have. My learning was, if you're trying to become an entrepreneur or you're trying to become a startup guy, startups is not a T20. Startup is test rated. You have to have that patience. You have to play long. You need to come up with that. There are only 0.01% lucky golden spoon guys which you see the glorified picture on the newspaper, media, that he's a unicorn, he's a billionaire, he's a non-billionaire. But the reality is that against every successful entrepreneur, there are 50,000 failures behind it. And no one talks failures. We all want to talk success, failure, nobody talks. So my learning of those 25 years is 3 things which I learned. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to have 3 things. One is people. you need to have a great team around you. If you want to build a large scalable business, again, it depends on how ambitious you are, but if you are really ambitious, you need to have a right people around you. And I also tell that if I start up something and if somebody gives me 4 great co-founders and say $10 million, I might choose those 4 co-founders because I will get 400 million through them. So people is the most important aspect, and which is my 25 years of learning. Second one is the patience. So as I said, startups are not T20. They are test matches. 5 days, you have to be there, play continuously. So the patience is the important. It's not, nothing is going to happen overnight. It took me 17 years to see success. Many people are there who might see 8. To build a meaningful business, you need 10 years at least. Otherwise, it's all short-term businesses can be built. So patience are very important. And perseverance, very, very important. You need to keep trying, fail, keep trying, fail. I think that journey, if you have these 3 things, patience, perseverance, and people, and the last but not least, you need to have a great partner to support you during that process. That 4th P is at home, but most important. So I think if we have, this is my learning. Luckily, I had all those who survived during that tough times. I'm standing, talking in front of you now.
Absolutely. Fantastic. So, this is a fantastic 4 Ps that, 4 Ps of Abhay Deshpande. So he says people, he says patience, he says perseverance, and the 4th P, which is partner, sort of ties up all this together and is probably one of the most important Ps of all these. Even if we reflect on your career, so there is entrepreneurship, there are roadblocks, there is entrepreneurship again, there is selling of a company, a fundraise, trying to set up a fund, trying to invest in. So it's actually a circular entrepreneurship journey as well as a person. So ladies and gentlemen, we're not taking questions today, but Abhay is available at the venue. Do feel free to reach out to him. And do check out Recykal website. It's a fabulous trove of information in terms of what's happening in the entire sustainability side and what is the opportunity of monetizing some of the sustainability initiatives. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Abhay Deshpande.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Now, I kindly request MSA Kumar, Chief Catalyst, Catalyst 360 and TiE Charter Member, to present a memento to Abhay Deshpande, Founder and CEO, Recykal.